discipline, courage, success, endurance. Strength, kindness, courage, humble. Spot Barber Academy. June 19th, 2023. Intentional conversations with community leaders. Getting real about race, relationships, but most importantly, the human resource. Let's go. Hey, this is Gale Nelson, President and CEO of Big Brothers Big Sisters Miami, coming to you live at the Spot Barber Academy in Doral for this special Juneteenth podcast. Today we reflect, we remember, but most importantly, we look forward to building solid relationships to promote humanity. With me today, the Operations Director of the Spot Academy, Dario Riveron, Operations Director, Spot Barber Academy. What's going on, brother?
Nothing much, man. Just glad to be here.
Oh, I tell you what, to this.
I gotta tell you.
Oh, let me tell you something. It's an honor to be here. The barbershop is a special place.
It is. It's a sanctuary for gentlemen.
No doubt. And so when you think about just the relationships that are formed, when you think about just what I'm getting done now, just the beauty of just a nice clean fade and a barbershop.
Changes everything.
Talk to me.
It changes your perspective of yourself, changes the way people view you, everything. Listen, barbershops have always been our therapy sessions. Think about it, growing up your entire life, or any guy going to the barbershop their entire life, for me especially, you talk to your barber about almost everything. And it relieves you, and then you get your hair cut, you feel great about yourself, you just feel great in every aspect. You walk out of the barbershop, you feel better than when you walk into the barbershop every time.
When we think about just the journey for somebody's success, and it's not lost on me. Here we are, two brothers. We hit it off right away. We've known each other, obviously less than a year, but when game recognizes game. And so we're both sports fans, and I remember going to your office and seeing the legends. Just from a sports standpoint, who motivates you the most? Anybody?
Kobe Bryant, easily.
Why?
Kobe Bryant. His mentality. For me, it's always, and everyone that knows me knows I'm Kobe all the way. I'm a Kobe guy, die hard. It's always been his mentality. One of the knocks I have against other superstars has always been like, they have the talent, they have the work ethic, they're good, but they don't have the same work ethic, or they don't have that killer mentality that Kobe possessed. And to me, he was one of my heroes in the celebrity world, I guess, if you want to call it like that, because of that. It was just amazing. You remember Kobe?
Oh,
right?
Come on now.
Kobe, you would say something. He was like Jordan in that aspect. You would say something to him, he'd come back the next game to get you. He'd come for you. He wouldn't come for the team. He'd come for that person. And he would work harder than you. He'd outwork anyone. You hear the Kobe stories. I love going back to YouTube from time to time, and I'll go back and I'll listen to the Kobe stories. I don't know if you ever heard like the Olympic ones or all I don't know. I love them. I love that aspect of Kobe. And then he named it the Mamba mentality. So now to me, it's every time I'm messing around, I'm like, guys, we got to put that Mamba mentality on.
And so in everything we do, and what I love about that, when he went through Pau Gasol on that screen in the Olympics, he knew the play, because you have to be a student of the game. Just like my man Freddie, shout out to my man Freddie doing this thing, cut my hair. Thank you, brother Freddie. But with that, as we think about just success, and as we think about just opportunities for minority students, there was a time when, there was opportunities just were not as available, and restrictions and all of that. So that when you talk about a Mamba mentality, when you talk about just studying the game, we want our youth, our littles, to be successful. Absolutely. And so, again, the vocation, the profession of being a barber, talk about the opportunity.
So, now, you were just talking about, yeah, absolutely. There was a point in time where there was no opportunity for minorities, in this country. And then you move forward, you progress little by little. And now we actually have the opportunity to where we can provide that, right? We can provide it in any trade. But the barbering trade is one of those opportunities where you have a chance where you can come to this country or be born in this country and have absolutely no opportunity handed to you. Most people have to work for them, and learn something that anywhere you go, you're always going to have food on your plate. I guarantee you, Freddie, one of the founders of the Spa Barbershops, I guarantee you Freddie will never go hungry no matter where he is, because he can say, I'll cut your hair, and you can get just enough to buy a plate of food. But you always have that at your disposal once you have a skill set of that kind. Barbering will open doors. I've seen it personally. Once I started, I got to see all the doors that open up for people that would never have those doors open before. The opportunity to financially provide for themselves, their families, to maintain relationships that they would have never. You never know who's sitting in your chair as a barber, and I actually learned that from them. You never know who's sitting in your chair.
That's right.
And the opportunity that person can provide you, or the assistance, or the knowledge that they can invoke upon you. I mean, there's been so many things that I've learned. I spent my entire life in sales and marketing, and I walk in here and I see barbers that know how to use their social media to market properly, and I'm like, damn, I'm learning something from them.
Yeah.
And you learn something at all times. And barbering gives you that. It gives you all those aspects, and then it gives you that skill set for you to use it in that way. And that's what we kind of focus on. Just give people the opportunity. What you do with the opportunity is completely up to you, but you come and we are going to find a way to get you the opportunity, get you the door open for you to start to progress in the way that you want to.
And you know what I love about it is, we talk about success, and a lot of these kids are told, okay, what college are you going to? That's one journey. That's one path. Is it a 2-year, 4-year college? As opposed to you learn a vocation wherever you go. Like you said, that's you. That's a part of you. That's yours. No one can take that from you. And growing up in the hood, I remember my mother would say, there used to be a commercial, a mind is a terrible thing to waste. And I would hear that all the time. And so when you think about that, Dario, and when you think learning, gaining a skill, learning a trade, and then taking care of yourself legally, doing what you need to do. And so when you think about the requirements for a little that's out there listening, for a parent that's struggling to make ends meet, and they want their child, it may not be college ready or college bound, and maybe even interested in college. So it's not about lack of ability, it's about interest. What are the requirements to become a master barber?
You can start learning at any age, but to become a master barber with your license, you have to be 16 years old when you begin.
16 years old, okay.
16 years old. You can begin, you can start attending schools. You have to be 18 to take your state board exam. You have to have your social, but there is assistance for all those situations. You have your social and you take your state board exam. We prep you for that here directly. Once you take the state board exam, if you pass, you're officially a master barber. It's as simple as that. And it's less than a year. You can do this 6-9 months, depending on what your passion is for it, the effort that you put into it. It all depends on you, really, because it's very simple. We make it as easy as we possibly can. And there's people that come here from other countries.
Yes.
That that they're already in their country, they were already barbers, or they were already experienced, and they come here and they feel like they're not going to have a chance. Maybe they have to go to college to learn this, or they have to go to college. You don't. You have the opportunity to come here, learn a trade that's going to make you a decent financial living for you to be able to succeed and provide for your family, coming from anywhere in the world. As far as like college, you have many options in this country. This isn't just one. You either go to trade school or you go to college.
Exactly.
If you listen to some of the billionaires and millionaires, they dropped out of college at one point and chose to do something else, but that's because they chose that avenue. But there's many different avenues that you can take. I have students that are doing both. They're going to college, they're getting their degree, and what's helping them pay for the degree to buy pizza, food, whatever it is they want while they're doing that is barbering.
Exactly. So you mean a 16-year-old could be in high school, get their license, study for their license, and then they take the state exam, in preparation for that. But then imagine, then they go off to college if they so choose, or they can go ahead and just be in a barbershop.
They'll have a job in college. College is a great client base if you think about it.
Oh my goodness.
For a young man or a young woman trying to make a little extra money while they're going to school.
Now, I got to confess, I jacked up a lot of heads in college.
Yeah.
They said, you know how to cut? I said, I'm good, until they saw what I did.
Until they saw, how many did you get through before they
Oh
stopped?
no, I tell you what, no, I would talk, I would just move, and I was quick with the mirror. So
I did it in high school. I started in high school and I was like, oh man. At first, you have to, but that's what we're here for. You make your mistakes here, so when you go out there, you don't make those mistakes anymore. You're more refined. And one of the things that I love about this industry that I've noticed and what I've learned, because you have to always keep an open mind, always be willing to learn something new, no matter how old you are, what you've been doing, or how long you've been doing it. One of the things that I always learned is, as long as you keep that student mentality, you're good. But experience trumps talent.
Yes.
And this is no different. Here, you're going to learn the trade, and the longer that you do it for, the more practice you get in, the better you're going to get. It's just going to take time. And, you have to give yourself that chance to learn, to take the time to actually put in the effort.
You hit some key words: experience, taking the time, and trust. When we think about Juneteenth and reflect on it one last time, the ugliness of racism when you don't even get to know anybody, and maybe your experience, maybe you heard things in your home. And so I oftentimes see children are born into this world racist. Kids don't come out of the womb and say, I don't like that person because of his brown skin, his black skin. They don't see that at all. And so the great equalizer, we talked about sports, we share that common love for sports. You think about the great equalizer in terms of music, but just family. I mean, everybody wants to be a part of something. Absolutely. And so as we reflect on the ugliness of, and you think about, let's look at it historically, January 1st, 1863, you think about, Abraham Lincoln, Emancipation Proclamation, freed the slaves. But it was 2 years later, Galveston, Texas, Juneteenth, where there were still people that were in this country that were just kept as slaves. And so now, 2023, Dario, and look at us, brother.
It takes time, and then it takes one spark,
yes, sir.
Right? In the turmoil of what it was back then, because when Abraham Lincoln did that, he was hated by half the country for it.
Right.
Half the country hated him for it, but it just took that to get us to where we are today. And it's not like we're perfect today. We're still working on it, and we have to continue to work on it. Regardless of where you're from, we all experience it in one way or another, and that goes for all races.
Yes.
You come to any country, and it's not just this country, because a lot of people think that racism only exists here, and that's not true. Racism doesn't only exist here; it exists everywhere. You come here, and how you react to it and what you do is what's going to help change that. So we're all going to experience it in one way or another. I know when I was growing up, we lived in a predominantly non-Hispanic area, and in a high school where maybe there was a handful of us. So I got to see it firsthand. And growing up, I never experienced that before. Coming from where I come from, everyone is pretty much Cuban. I come from Cuba, everybody's pretty much Cuban. But then you experience that, and it catches you by surprise, like, wow. You never expect to feel the way that it makes you feel. So you never want to feel like that. You never want to make anyone feel like that. So you kind of have to progress your mentality a little bit as you go through it. And that's the only way things are going to change.
How'd you cope? How'd you cope being a minority where you grew up?
You kind of take it in stride and just embed yourself into the community. Sports was a big one.
Yeah, the great equalizer.
The great equalizer. Sports is, listen, I don't care where you're from, who you are. If your team is good, it doesn't matter what race, what color the players are, you don't care. That's your team.
You make that pass, you pass to Pookie or Boo Boo, and they make the layup. It's like, man, I like you. I'll see you tomorrow.
You make the play. Yeah. They love you. They'll cheer for you. Doesn't matter where they're from. Doesn't matter where you're from. So sports was a big one. Sports was a really big one. And, just kind of like, you can't say, oh, okay, I'm not going to participate in society or in school because of the fact that, oh, they don't like me for me or whatever it might be. You just kind of embed yourself into it. And the only way you can change things is from the inside, right? So you kind of just embed and participate, and then you make one friend here whose mentality changed because they became your friend. And then this person's like, oh, that is pretty cool. Oh, and then you kind of just go from there. And, it was a big part for me. I was always trying to, like, befriend and be friendly and, and welcoming. I never, just because you don't like me for who I am, well, all right, that's fine. You don't even know me. I like you, though. You just kind of go from there, and that's kind of how I've always been.
And I want to thank the Spot Barber Academy for hosting this special edition of Juneteenth podcast, but not only that, the partnership with Big Brothers Big Sisters Miami. Let's talk about that partnership a little bit before we close out, brother. So from your vantage point, what does that partnership look like?
Oh man, it looks amazing. We're super excited. We actually, ever since we kind of reached out and started going from there, it's been a topic of conversation around here. We partner, right? We try to do as many things. One of the things that we did when we opened the school was we just, Freddie, being our founder, he's always been a person that's always like, and this is something that he would teach me when I started was, you got to help people. And this is business, but you got to help people. And, that's his quote. I'm actually quoting him word for word. You have to help people. And what do you have? Well, let's say you don't have the financial ability to help people, or you don't have as much time as you would like. Well, what do you have? So what we have is we have the opportunity to provide haircuts to the community. So we try to provide as many as we possibly can. We partner with different organizations. And then we meet Big Brothers, and we're like, now we have the opportunity to help people that want to learn,
Yes.
you know, that want to learn a trade. They might not have had the opportunity to learn this trade before, or they might not be in the financial situation to learn. What can we do? So let's help. Let's help there. And Big Brothers, you know, we went to your gala. It was amazing.
Next
you know, it
level.
was beautiful. We loved it. Yeah, it was cool. White Club was different. I had never seen him live, but that was different. But it just, it's opening our mind also. You guys have been around for a long time. You guys span a very large area of the world. And that's kind of opening our minds too. We're learning from you guys in that aspect too. So that partnership for us is a learning experience, as well as an opportunity to help out in an area which we might not have been able to help out
Yes.
before.
No, we're excited about the upcoming back to school, giving our littles free haircuts, getting them ready to get back in the game academically. And Father's Day as well. We're excited about, you know, just the vocational training that our littles can have as well, so that they can start their big careers and their big future.
Listen, one day they're going through things now, right? Let's say they might be going through something like, you know, the Juneteenth situation that we're talking about. So they're going through something, and then they'll learn this trade, and then they'll be the therapist back there, talking to the, you know, the one that's going through it down, and they'll be able to share their experience and their knowledge to them.
So, brother, thank you. Thanks, Spot Barber Academy.
Thank you for having me.
This special Juneteenth edition here at the Spot Barber Academy in Doral. Juneteenth, we reflect, we look forward, we work together, because together we look good. Go.